students. After a long time there was some interruption in the online classes, and again we are meeting, and I think that we have already completed the first lesson, that is what is that first lesson? A letter to God. A letter to God, that I think we have already completed that. And now today let us take another lesson, that is you find on the page number 16 of your textbook. That lesson, Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. I think you know Nelson Mandela. Who is he? He was a South African. He was born in South Africa, a great leader, and who became the first black president of South Africa. And Nelson Mandela spent nearly 30 years in jail. He was imprisoned for 30 years in jail. In those days there was racial discrimination. You know what is racial discrimination? Showing differentiation. That is, suppose you are black, you will be treated in a different way. In those days, it was dominated by white people. White people dominated for nearly 300 years. Not only in South Africa, you find in the history, even in America also, there was racial discrimination. You might have heard the names of Abraham Lincoln, Dr. Martin Luther King. They all sacrificed their lives, and so was the case with Nelson Mandela in South Africa. Likewise, great people, they sacrificed, they laid down their lives because they firmly believed that all the human beings should be treated alike. In other words, the blood flowing in a Negro and the blood flowing in a white man will be one and the same, will be in red in color. It is not that a Negro's blood is some other color and white man's blood is some other color. So that being the situation, why should we fight among ourselves? So, Nelson Mandela was kept in jail for nearly 30 years, and when he came out of the jail, elections were conducted in South Africa, and people voted Nelson Mandela, and he became the president of South Africa. And this particular lesson runs into two chapters. One is inauguration, and the second one is deals with Nelson Mandela's childhood and his the struggle which he faced during his youth and adulthood. All those things we can understand. So inauguration, what is being inaugurated here? So when South Africa elected Nelson Mandela as the first black president, it was being celebrated. It was a great occasion, a historic occasion for celebrating. So leaders from as many as 40 countries, they reached Pretoria city of South Africa, and they all assembled there, and that is what we call as inauguration. And another thing is, this particular lesson is an autobiography of Nelson Mandela. You know what is autobiography? A life story written by himself. A life story written by oneself is called autobiography. Suppose life story written by somebody else, it is called biography. So this particular lesson is an autobiography written by Nelson Mandela himself. And it is not out of place to mention here, likewise our great leader, the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi. He wrote an autobiography. You know that what is the name of his autobiography? My Experiments with the Truth. That was also one of the classics in English literature, and I would like to advise all the students just to read that after some time. Then you will come to know the full personality of Mahatma Gandhi. Right now, you do not know. Of course, you know. Suppose somebody puts a question to you, who is Mahatma Gandhi? You may say a few words. That is, he is a father of our nation, and he was born on October 2nd. That's all. And he believed in non-violence. He brought freedom to us. Like that, a few words you might be knowing. Beyond that, you can't say anything at all. But in order to understand the full personality of Mahatma Gandhi, it is advised to go through his beautiful book, My Experiments with the Truth. It runs to some 200 pages or something like that. It is worth to keep it in your library. Okay. So coming back to this lesson, Nelson Mandela, long walk to freedom. What is a long walk here? A long walk means to get to freedom, to attain freedom is not so easy. When South Africa, they really suffered, black people really suffered at the hands of white people for more than 300 years. Then ultimately they got independence. A democratic set of government was formed in South Africa. So it was not what we call an easy walk. It is not an easy walk, but in the process, hundreds and hundreds, thousands of people, they laid down their lives, and it was a great struggle, fight and sacrifice, and ultimately South Africa became fully democratic. And now there is no racial discrimination. And as for that matter, you don't find racial discrimination in any country as on date. Can you name any country as on date also they observe racial discrimination? No. So, thanks to great leaders who sacrificed their lives, and today we are living happily. But as far as our country is concerned, that is India, well, we are really fortunate enough. We don't have any such racial discrimination. And we absolutely enjoy freedom in our country. Yes or no? Okay. Before you read, just take your books into your hands. Apartheid is a political system that separates people according to their race. We call it as apartheid. Apartheid means that means in Telugu we call it as vivakshata, jati vivakshata. That means regarding people with the color of their skin. So during that time it was an apartheid rule. Okay. Have you heard of Nelson Mandela? Mandela and his African National Congress spent a lifetime fighting against apartheid. Mandela had to spend 30 years in prison. Finally, democratic elections were held and in South Africa in 1964, and Mandela became the first black president of a new nation. As I told you, Mandela and so many other leaders also, they spent several years, they languished in the prison. And ultimately, Nelson Mandela became the first black president of South Africa. Okay. In this extract from his autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom, Mandela speaks about a historic occasion, the inauguration. Inauguration. Can you guess what is being inaugurated here? On the historic occasion of his election, that's what we can understand. Mandela becomes South Africa's first black president. Nelson Mandela has become South Africa's first black president after more than 300 centuries of white rule. Mr. Mandela, white African National Congress Party won 252 of the 400 seats in the first democratic elections of South Africa. It was really a landslide victory, a great victory for Nelson Mandela. The inauguration ceremony took place in the Union Buildings Amphitheatre in Pretoria, today attended by politicians and dignitaries from more than 140 countries around the world. Never, never again will this beautiful land experience the oppression of one by another, said Nelson Mandela in his address. Inauguration means that is oath-taking ceremony. When Nelson Mandela became the first black president of South Africa, they celebrated his election. So that is that was being called as inauguration. Inauguration of democratic setup of the country. As many as nearly more than 140 leaders from different parts of the country, different parts of the globe, or different parts of the world, they attended to this inauguration ceremony in Pretoria, one of the beautiful cities of South Africa. So many people attended. Okay, as a mark of respect to the great leader Nelson Mandela, who fought many countries, many years to achieve independence or to drive away the apartheid rule from South Africa. And during the inauguration speech, Nelson Mandela said, never, 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 in future, it is not going to be the domination of white people. The domination of white people is over. From this point of time, from now onwards, there is no differentiation. There is no differentiation between black and white. All are alike. That was the first speech given by Nelson Mandela. Jubilant scenes on the streets of Pretoria followed the ceremony with blacks, whites, and colors celebrating together. More than 1 lakh South African men, women, and children of all races sang and danced with joy. It was really a very great occasion. Thousands and thousands of people came and attended that meeting. And they all danced, they all enjoyed just like a festival. It was just like a festival for South Africa. Because all along they experienced terrible difficulties under white's domination. Now all their troubles ended and a new beginning started. Okay. 10th May dawned bright and clear. For the past few days I means Nelson Mandela, I had been pleasantly besieged by dignitaries and world leaders who were coming to pay their respects before the inauguration. The inauguration would be the largest gathering ever of international leaders on South African soil. So Nelson Mandela was telling here that it was the largest ever attended meeting on South Africa soil, that is inauguration. So many people, leaders from different countries attended the meeting. The ceremonies took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheatre formed by the Union Buildings or in Pretoria. All the celebrations, they took place in Pretoria, one of the beautiful cities of South Africa. Can you tell me how many cities are there? I mean, important cities in, can you name at least a few important cities in South Africa? Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, Pretoria. These are some of the cities. Okay. For decades, this had been the seat of white supremacy, and now it was the site of a rainbow gathering of different colors and nations for the installation of South Africa's first democratic non-racial government. For quite a long time, it was the place from where the white people ruled South Africa. It was the center of the government. But now, there is no such racial discrimination. Now, for the first time, all the black people and white people, they are being treated as one and the same. A very great historic occasion. On that lovely autumn day, I was accompanied by my daughter Janani on the podium. On that day, Nelson Mandela came to attend the meeting. He was accompanied by his daughter. On the podium, Mr. D. Clark was first sworn in as second deputy president. Then Thabo Mbeki was sworn in as the first deputy president. When it was my turn, I pledged to obey and uphold the constitution, to devote myself to the well-being of the republic and its people. To the assembled guests and the watching world, I said. So on that day, on inauguration day, Nelson Mandela was accompanied to the meeting place by his daughter, and there was a swearing-in ceremony. First, deputy president was swearing-in ceremony ke Pramana Swikar. Then afterwards, another deputy president was also sworn in. Then Nelson Mandela took his oath, and he said, by taking the oath, he said, I will be governed by the rules and regulations, and I will dedicate my life to the people of South Africa, and I will abide by the Constitution of South Africa. Like that, he pledged that he would give a clean, neat and good government to all the people of South Africa, irrespective of their caste, religion and color. Understand? Today, all of us do, by our presence here, confer glory and hope to the newborn liberty. Out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long, must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud. Today is a very historical day. Long years of oppression and depression. Today, South Africa is a newly born country, and we are bidding bye-bye to all that oppression. And from today onwards, we are going to start a new life, a life of hope, a life of promise. I am very happy that I am standing in front of you and giving you a promise that you will be taken care of. You can happily forget the olden days where you were oppressed and where you were treated in a very miserable way. But all those things, they became the things of past. The present situation is you are going to have a very bright future. That is what Nelson Mandela started. Okay, we will just stop here, and again we will continue the lesson again. Okay, bye.